What is up, Richmond Rillaboom fans? We are coming to you with the Week 6 Team Builder video for the RGBL. If you are enjoying the RGBL series, the season so far, we are 4-1 with make sure you check out last week's video if you have not seen the battle from last week. It was a crazy one. Um, it was a very, very close match. We got some unfortunate luck in there, but without revealing too much spoilers, definitely check it out. It was a crazy, crazy, very tense battle. Props to Chaos 6 of the Detroit Red Wing goals for well fought victory. But today, in this week, we're trying to bounce back after our first loss, and yeah, trying to get back on the road to victory. We've got another spicy matchup ahead of us. So let's check out our opponent's team. This week we are playing Marcelo and the Florence Floor Cannons. They have a roster consisting of Kyrim, Zapdos Galar, Empoleon, Arcanine, Hisuian, the Mandibuzz, Screamtail, Clodsire, Snorlax, Rotom, regular Rotom Ghost form, which is one of his Terramons with Terra Electric, Ghost, or Psychic. I've got Terra Blossom with Terra Grass, Fire, or Normal, and a Terra Spidops with Terra Bug, Ghost, and Steel. So you will see our full roster right next to it on the bottom right there. But let's get into the 6 that we are bringing this week and kind of give our thoughts on why we are bringing it. If you are enjoying this series, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. Any little support goes a long way for helping a new channel grow. So if you love Pokemon Draft League content, help your boy out. Hit that button real quick. So this week we are bringing again one of our Terra captains, Vikavolt, A-Drive. Shoutouts to A-Drive. Pokemon Draft League legend, who's no longer really doing it, but unfortunately. But yeah, we are bringing Terra Fairy Vikavolt this time. Very bulky Vikavolt with almost max HP. Got 240 EVs in HP. We've got a lot of defense investment, 136. Modest nature with a little bit of special attack investment. A little bit of special defense bulk, and just a tiny bit of speed for anything that might be trying to speed creep our Vikavolt here. So in this matchup, sticky webs, could potentially be helpful for things like the Screamtail, things like the Hisuian Arcanine if he's not Boots. But yeah, I mean, he does have a lot of things that will probably want to be running Boots, like the Arcanine, like the Kyurem. So I'm not sure how much I'm going to worry about like prioritizing webs here. Also got to worry about the fact that Empoleon can be competitive as its ability, so webs would be giving that thing a +2 special attack boost. So I might not even be clicking webs, to be honest, but Vikavolt really is here defensively this week. The Rocky Helmet is there to give me something. I really, without this, I don't have much switch-ins to like a Scarfed or Banded Galar Zapdos. And that thing is one of the biggest threats against my team. So I really just needed to make this thing a Terra Fairy. It's very likely going to be my lead in this matchup, which will be especially great if he does decide to lead his Zapdos. And will likely just be terrestrializing into Fairy turn 1. But yeah, I'm running Thunderbolt, Sticky Web, Baton Pass, and Flash Cannon. Flash Cannon hits the Kyurem pretty hard. It should do decent damage to Clodsire. It gives me something to hit the Screamtail pretty hard with. And, other than that, Vikavolt really is here just basically as like a defensive pivot. And Baton Pass over Volt Switch allows me to get momentum on him wanting to bring the Clodsire in. Like on paper, Clodsire looks like a really excellent switch into our Vikavolt. So the idea there is to be able to just Baton Pass out, hopefully get some like Rocky Helmet chip against the Zapdos with that Rocky Helmet. And yeah, speaking of clicking Baton Pass into the Clodsire, so I wanted to have something to take advantage of the Clodsire, and this is why we are bringing a very interesting Hydreigon set this week. So a lot of bulk, 160 HP, 148 special attack, and then enough speed to outspeed a max speed Arcanine. And we are running Stealth Rock, Thunder Wave, Dark Pulse, and Substitute. So this is really, Balarian or Hydreigon is really here to just cause some early game headaches and a lot of annoyance to his team. If I can bring this thing in on a Clodsire, it's very likely that the Clodsire does not have anything to hit our Hydreigon at all. Like, we're immune to earthquakes, immune to any grass or ground moves. Poison moves are not going to be doing much at all, and I should be able to freely substitute on the Clodsire, and he won't be able to break our sub. So that's the idea behind this. And then, you know, if he wants to switch in things like the Screamtail or like the Mandibuzz or Empoleon, we should be sitting behind a substitute with that leftovers, getting the passive recovery, and be able to get off rocks, and also like a Thunder Wave to paralyze things like Screamtail, Empoleon, or Mandibuzz will go a long way towards some of our late game like win conditions. So yeah, and having the Thunder Wave plus Dark Pulse with a chance to flinch, that 20% chance to flinch and the 30% chance to get fully paralyzed after a T-Wave makes it hard for them to break through that paralysis flinch status. Can be very, very annoying, and you know, forces that Screamtail to not be able to click moves like Thunder Wave, click moves like, you know, screens or wish and things like that. It forces it to sort of try to attack, try to break my sub, be trying to break through those paralysis. And if I can wear that thing down, you know, that's one of the best checks he has to like things like Manaphy and stuff. So I wanted a Stealth Rocker this week, but it was hard to fit rocks onto my Iron Treads and Duraludon. So this is why we're bringing this Hydreigon set. And I think this, you know, sets like this tend to catch people off by surprise with Hydreigon. So yeah, hopefully this will surprise our opponent and be able to just, you know, cause a lot of problems for them early game. So with that being said, let's check out our Iron Treads here. Like I said, I was having trouble fitting rocks onto the set. I wanted to have a good hazard removal on this team because he does have a lot of hazard stackers. Clodsire, like I said, I don't think it will have anything to break that Hydreigon substitute because he probably will be wanting to run things like Toxic Spikes, Rocks, whatever, and just probably won't have an attack for it. So we're bringing Heavy Duty Boots on the Iron Treads. Also because he does have the Spidops, which is another big like hazard stacker, which actually gets webs access to. We don't want to be dealing with webs in this matchup. That was the one other reason why I brought webs on Vikavolt, because I was thinking he might want to bring webs against me with the Spidops. And the Terra Spidops actually seems kind of decent against like things like Iron Boulder or things like Manaphy if it has like a Terra Bug first impression, you know, strong priority. But yeah, Heavy Duty Boots allows me to bring in Iron Treads, not get the speed drop from webs, not take any damage from spikes, and just rapid spin those hazards away. Earthquake, Iron Head, and Knockoff are good coverage versus pretty much everything on his team. Um, Knockoff, I felt like that was necessary for the Rotom. Otherwise, Rotom looks like a really good switch in, like a very easy free switch in to Iron Treads. So I wanted to have something to hit that, and you always got to respect the opponent's Terra captains. Um, and Rotom could be a lot of different sets this week. Like it could be a Scarf set to try to offensively check Manaphy, um, or like a Scarf Terra Ghost to try to offensively check our Iron Boulder. Oh, and that was the other thing with this Hydreigon being very bulky. Um, the Rotom being that's a very likely bring for him because of things like Manaphy and Iron Treads and Iron Boulder. Like I wanted to have something that again could just like easily switch into Rotom and get up subs against Rotom. Like it very likely will have things like Will-O-Wisp and then like Electric and Ghost coverage, and Hydreigon just doesn't care about any of those things and should be able to freely, especially if it's not scarfed, we freely get up a sub against it, and it's just like an easy click sub against Rotom or Clodsire, and then just be very annoying behind a sub with Thunderwave and Dark Pulse. So going back to Iron Treads, yeah, the Earthquake hits Arcanine very well. It hits Empoleon. Iron Head hits Kyurem and the Scream Tail, and the knockoff for the Rotom. And otherwise, yeah, this is just my way of removing annoying hazards like spikes and toxic spikes. So looking at our Boptimus here, so we've all season been bringing very defensive Eviolite Duraludons, and this week a offensive, more speedy Duraludon, especially with webs up, looks really good against him. We're bringing Terra Ground Duraludon with max special attack. We are rocking the Eviolite just to help take a few hits, but we've got with Flash Cannon, Terra Blast Ground, Thunderbolt, and Dark Pulse, we're able to hit everything on his team pretty much for like super effective damage. And again, like I think this is a set that can take him by surprise, um, and it can help to set up some of my win cons late game as well. Um, if I am in the scenario where I did not use Terra Fairy on Vikavolt and I want to terrestrialize this into ground to help, like, say, Clodsire. The thing is, Clodsire looks really good against a lot of my top threats, with Unaware being able to shut down things like Tail Glow Manaphy or Swords Dance Iron Boulder. Or if he wants to run Water Absorb for my Manaphy, that's a possibility as well. But like Clodsire has a lot of things it wants to check. It wants to check Iron Boulder, it wants to check Manaphy, it wants to check Vikavolt, and Duraludon. It seems like a good switch into Duraludon. But if I'm running Terra Ground, then I can Terra Blast that thing and hit it for good damage and just pressure it some more. So like this is really here to pressure things. If I do Terra Ground, likely what he'll want to do is like sort of revenge kill with Kyurem. I never know how to say certain things, but that could help me set up an endgame. Like if he wants to bring in Kyurem, revenge kill this thing with like an Ice Beam, that can help me to have an opportunity to bring in this booster energy with we are booster energy with speed boosting Terrakion, not Terrakion, Iron Boulder, Brock, our team captain here, which has been putting in work. It is at the top of the kills leaderboard through 5 weeks. We've got a pretty good amount of bulk investment. We're able to put 96 EVs into our hit points. And then max attack, Jolly, with 152 speed, Plus the booster energy allows me to outspeed everything on his team after the speed boost. And yeah, this thing just was. I'm running Sacred Sword over close combat just in case somehow a Snorlax is able to like get up a couple curses and things. Always gotta respect the curse Snorlax set because that thing can just get out of control really fast. So Sacred Sword allows me to ignore any stat changes, so it will just break right through any like defense boosts that thing is able to get up. Um, Also hits the Empoleon and the Arcanine super effectively. Then we got Mighty Cleave, which hits a lot of his team except for Clodsire and Empoleon. And then we've got Psycho Cut for the Clodsire. That stab psychic move, which is great because Clodsire is not super bulky on the physical side, but it is very bulky, especially defensive. And we have the Swords Dance. So yeah, like I said, if I can bring it in again, especially against a Kyurem who maybe even has like a special defense drop after like dropping a Draco or you know, it just doesn't have any like, if it's not specs or something, I know I can live a hit and I can outspeed with the booster energy, and I should be able to get up like a free Swords Dance. And if that Clodsire is weakened, this could be just GG if I get up a Swords Dance. So Iron Boulder once again looking very good. This mon is just freaking broken, man. It's so good every week. It feels like it's a very viable win con. And finally, our last Pokemon that we're bringing, Manaphy. So yeah, similar to last week, it's like Manaphy and Iron Boulder are kind of complementary win cons here. Especially after webs, if webs are like reducing the speed on Screamtail, Manaphy just comes in and pretty much outspeeds everything outside of like a Scarfed Rotom, and you know, could get a Tail Glow up and just start breaking through things on his team. Like, he does have a lot of good answers to Manaphy, like Empoleon. You know, I don't have great ways to hit a very specially defensive Empoleon, but you know, the advantage of that is that Empoleon doesn't really have much to do back to Manaphy. Like, the best thing it can kind of do is just roar me out, um, force Manaphy to switch out after getting the boost off. But at that point, I've already gotten off like a +3 energy ball, which we'll be doing uh, a good chunk at least. And then, you know, most of the rest of the team looks pretty good against that Empoleon. So I'm fine if that's like the way that he wants to deal with Empoleon. The other potential ways are, like I said, unaware Clodsire is a possibility, but even that, like I said, I'll be able to find out if it's unaware. Hit it pretty decently with Ice Beam. And again, Clodsire doesn't have a whole lot to do back to Manaphy aside from like maybe poison it. So this is why we're running the Lumberry for like poison, like a Toxic on Clodsire, or Thunder Wave from Screamtail or Rotom. Because Screamtail is the other way. Like, he could have a fast Screamtail that's either running Encore or Thunder Wave. So Lumberry is there to heal off any potential like Thunder Wave. I thought about a Mental Herb to block if he does want to go for Encore, but because I'm also bringing webs and like I might have webs up, I figured Lumberry was better. And like I said, uh, Manaphy, like a lot of the things that would potentially check Manaphy and try to counter a setup Manaphy are also things that he wants to try to use to counter my Iron Boulder. So like if Manaphy comes in before the Iron Boulder at any point and is able to just like chunk down any of those things, that helps set up the end game for Iron Boulder. So that's really why Manaphy is coming in. It's basically just to kind of try to help break through some of his defensive core. put pressure on him, force him to do things like roar, force him to take damage on Screamtail or Clodsire or Snorlax even, and yeah, and also like kind of force him to show his hand with Rotom. But I have other answers for all of those things, so that's why Manaphy looks pretty good here. Basically, you know, should be able to help do some damage and set up our endgame. So that is really the idea. Our Iron Treads, our main hazard remover. Hydreigon is our way of getting up rocks. Vikvol's here really as like a last-ditch defensive check to one of his biggest threats, the Zapdos. Wear that thing down with Rocky Helmet. Be able to take fighting moves really well. After the Terra Fairy, Duraludon there to sort of potentially help break if it's terrestrializes into ground type, and help set up the end game by forcing things like Kyurem in, and then our cleaners, our main damage dealers in Manaphy and Iron Boulder. And that is the strategy. This team looked pretty darn good in mocks this week, so I'm feeling pretty good about our chances this week. It just looks like a lot of these Pokemon that we're bringing have pretty good matchups and perform very well against the majority of his team. So I like this build here. I like this matchup. We're just going to try to stay focused in the match and try not to make mistakes. There was a couple key mistakes I made last week just in prep, and also looking back in hindsight on like the game, there was a couple opportunities where like even coming back from some of the unfortunate luck early game, like there were multiple windows of opportunity where I could have made better plays and put myself in a position to still win after the hacks, and I was just kind of not thinking super clearly. So yeah, we just gotta play to the best of our ability, play towards our win cons. Set up the things that we want to set up early game. I really like this Hydreigon set. I think it's gonna surprise him, and just anytime you start spreading T-waves around, start spreading that yellow magic paralysis, and getting behind substitutes, it can put a lot of pressure on the opponent. So that's kind of the idea here. So yeah, make sure you like and subscribe once again, and we will see you guys in the live battle. All right, peace.